Most of us believe owning stock means directly funding the company. We picture our money flowing straight into their projects. But what if the ownership you believe you have isn't quite what it seems? What's truly happening when you click buy on a stock? There's an intricate, hidden wiring behind that seemingly simple transaction, far more complex than a direct exchange. The simple act of buying stock you think is a direct investment in a company. By the end, you'll see it's a sophisticated exchange within an invisible architecture of intermediaries. The invisible river, where your money really goes. When you finally decide to buy a share of your favorite company, perhaps a tech giant or a beverage maker, where do you imagine your money actually goes? It's natural to think it flows straight to that company. But most of the time, it doesn't. In fact, first of all, you never buy from Apple or other major companies when you're trading on the open market. Instead, your cash is typically heading into the pockets of another investor. Someone who previously owned those shares and decided it was time to sell. Consider buying a house. If you purchase a brand new home directly from the developer, your money helps build more homes, pays the construction crews, funds future projects. That's like the primary market for stocks, when a company first offers shares to the public. But if you buy a house that's already been lived in, your money doesn't go to the original builder. It goes to the previous homeowner, who then uses it for their next adventure, maybe a down payment on a new place, or a vacation. The house itself still stands, still provides shelter, but the transaction simply transferred ownership from one individual to another. The stock market, for most daily trades, operates much the same way. Your purchase doesn't fund the company's research or its next product launch. It simply exchanges ownership of a tiny piece of that company from one investor to another. This movement of money, this rapid exchange between countless buyers and sellers, doesn't just happen magically. There's an entire, often invisible, architecture enabling these transactions to occur instantaneously. Who or what ensures that when you click buy, there's always a seller, and vice versa? The instant bridge, the unseen hands of market makers. But the journey of your capital, once committed, takes another turn, often through a system designed for speed above all. We often speak of the investment landscape as one monolithic entity, yet it actually functions as two distinct spaces. There's the initial offering space, where business entities first issue ownership units to raise funds. Think of it as a venture's grand opening, selling pieces of itself directly. But then there's the subsequent trading space, the bustling, perpetual exchange where those ownership units change hands between investors, day in and day out. This is where most of us interact, and this is where the illusion of instant gratification takes hold. When you click buy or sell on your phone, you might imagine a direct connection to another individual, somewhere out there, clicking at the exact same moment. But in most cases, that's not what happens. Instead, a powerful, unseen middleman steps in, an intermediary. They're like a master chef's prep station in a busy kitchen. You place an order, and the ingredients are just there, diced, measured, and ready. You don't wait for a farmer to harvest the vegetables just for your dish. The components are always available, allowing the meal to be assembled instantly. These intermediaries operate on the same principle, holding an inventory of ownership units and ready to instantly buy from sellers or sell to buyers. They keep the financial flow smooth, preventing delays that would otherwise jam up the whole system by ensuring constant availability. This instant bridge, however, comes with its own hidden costs and complexities. In their quest to ensure constant availability, these entities create a mechanism that grants you speed and convenience, yes, but it also raises questions about whose interests are truly being prioritized, and whether the price you get is always the best possible. The transaction feels complete, your account balance updates, but what about the actual possession? The speed is undeniable, the convenience absolute. But this smooth, immediate exchange often obscures a deeper truth about what it means to actually hold a piece of an enterprise. The unseen deed. You don't hold the title. So we've seen how these intermediaries act as the unseen hands, bridging buyers and sellers in an instant. But their involvement hints at a deeper, more fundamental truth about your stock purchases. The direct exchange you imagine isn't quite the reality. Unlike buying a product where your payment goes directly to the maker, your investment in shares doesn't typically flow to the company itself. In most cases, you never buy from Apple directly, or from any company whose stock you acquire. Instead, your brokerage order often navigates a complex network, frequently routed through an invisible middleman. This structure means there's a layer, or several, between you and the company whose shares you believe you own. Imagine you've signed up for a monthly membership at a local car wash. You pay your fee, you drive through whenever you want, and your car comes out sparkling. You absolutely benefit from that car wash. You have a clear right to its service. But you don't own the brushes, the high-pressure hoses, or the land the car wash sits on. Your name isn't on the deed for any of that equipment or property. It's a claim to a service, not direct ownership of the underlying assets. Stock ownership, for most retail investors, works in a surprisingly similar way. You benefit from the stock's performance. But the formal record of ownership is managed differently. This raises an important question. If the formal record of ownership isn't directly in your name, who does hold it, and how are these millions of shares securely tracked? The central vault. The layered system of ownership. We talked about how your name isn't actually printed on a direct ownership document anymore. But the reality of ownership goes even deeper, revealing a complex, almost hidden structure. It's not just that you don't hold the deed, it's that your direct ownership is often recorded through your brokerage, rather than your name appearing on the company's official shareholder list. Imagine attending a massive stadium concert. You bought your ticket from a vendor, you have proof of purchase, and the right to enjoy the show. You are the beneficial owner of that experience. But the legal owner of the stadium, the entity holding the deed to the property and the permits for the event, is a different organization entirely. You don't interact with them directly, but without them, there's no show. When a company like Airbnb went public, it raised significant capital from newly issued shares. That's the primary market, a direct exchange. But once those shares began trading on the secondary market, day in and day out, they largely entered this layered system. You, as an individual investor, receive the financial gains. And your online statement shows your holdings, appearing as if you own them outright. But beneath that clear view is this intricate structure. This system, while engineered for massive scale, means your direct ownership exists a layer or two removed. It raises the question, with so many hands touching the same shares, how do we know everything aligns when trades happen? How does the money and the ownership actually get where it needs to go, reliably, every single time?
The safety net. The unseen dance of settlement.
Now, imagine a stock market without those critical layers of protection we just explored. What happens then? That click you make buying shares isn't the finish line. It's the starting gun for a hidden machinery designed to ensure everything actually gets where it's supposed to go. Think about what happens behind the scenes at a busy restaurant. You order your meal. To you, it's a seamless few minutes. But back in the kitchen, there's a precise ballet of chefs, prep cooks, and expediters making sure each ingredient is ready, cooked perfectly, and sent to the right table. That entire unseen choreography prevents orders from getting mixed up, ensures quality, and keeps the whole place from grinding to a halt. The market's underlying operations involve a system where every buy and sell order triggers a sequence of steps. This process ensures accuracy and involves careful verification, managing the movement of funds, and confirming positions. It ensures your money reaches the seller and that the shares are properly transferred. Without this diligent work behind the scenes, what exactly are we building on? What kind of foundation does that leave for our financial future? So, what's truly happening when you click buy on a stock? It's not the simple, direct transfer of formal ownership many of us imagine. Instead, we're engaging with a sophisticated, layered system where our claim to the company's value is often indirect, managed within an intricate architecture of record keepers and facilitators. The ownership you believe you have isn't always quite what it seems. But understanding this isn't a demystification. It's an invitation to a deeper comprehension. This journey into the market's inner scaffolding offers a profound payoff, a transformed perception of our investments, and a more informed, empowered approach to navigating these powerful, unseen forces. If these insights resonate with you, further information and content are available through our platform. You can find more details on alex.com to explore these topics.